Hi, this is Jaya. In this video, we shall see a short summary of My Story, an autobiography by Kamala Das. In this autobiography, Kamala Das has chronologically ordered a linear narrative in a realistic style. And she mentions her life from the age of 4 through British colonial and missionary schools which she had passed. And she says that missionary schools were favored by the colonial Indian elite. And she also talks about a sexual awakening and an early and seemingly disastrous marriage, and her growing literary career, about her extramarital affairs, the birth of her three sons, and finally, a slow but steady coming to terms with a spouse, writing, and sexuality. In her preface to the autobiography, she claims that she began to write the text in the mid 1970s from her hospital bed because at that time she was grappled with the potentiality of a fatal heart attack condition. And she has presented herself as either too bohemian to care about revealing her sexual adventures and her periods of mental breakdown, or as the submissive wife following the dictates of her husband, who was apparently more eager than herself to cash in on a spiced up and heavily fictionalized account of her life. And yet, at every opportunity, Kamala says that she is India's most unconventional women writer with no regrets about her work. In this autobiography, she has totally 50 chapters, which also includes a preface. And the heading of the chapters are The Humiliation of a Brown Child in a European School, About Childhood Nightmares and the Only Good Friend, Each Poem of Mine Made Me Cry, Nullapat House Gifted by Amorous Chieftain, In the Secret Drawer Was a Brown Bottle which smelt of ambergris, I Was Infatuated with His Charm, Women of good Nair families never mentioned sex, lonely goddess. They would have liked him to go to bed with a ghost every night. She was half crazed with love and hardly noticed me. The girls in boarding school came from a very different background. Homely Annie gets handsome young lover. The nuns used to censor the letters we wrote. I wanted to marry a rich man to be a snob. We were subjected to subtle sadism of several kinds. I prayed to the sun god to give me a male child. One morning, the sannyasi had gone, only the smell of opium remained. Was ever married adult a clown in bed, a circus performer? Her voice was strange. It was easy for me to fall in love with her. She lay near me, holding my body close to hers. His hands bruised my body and left blue and red marks on the skin. Wedding night. Again and again he hurt me, and all the while the Kathakali drums throbbed duly. A gold coin for love. I sent the cook out to get some barbiturates. The blood-stained moonlight. The first chapter of darkness. For the first time in my life, I learned to surrender totally. My love was like arms looking for a begging bowl. I still yearned for my grey-eyed friend. Sex and the cooperative movement. He walked in silence a few yards ahead of me. It was the beginning of delightful death, passing away of my great grandmother. Again and again the same man phoned. Calcutta's cocktail season. I was Carlos Sita. For the first time I saw the eunuchs dance in Calcutta. Delhi streets were fragrant and murky. I felt very young. Calicut gets a good crop of lunatics. Like the phoenix, I rose from the ashes of my past. I withdrew into the cave I had made for myself. The last of my lovers, handsome dark one with a tattoo between his eyes. I too tried adultery for a short while. I was never a nymphomaniac. Return to Nalapat. Was my 24-year-old marriage on the rocks? Only the wealthy hated me. They spread lush scandals about me. The sorcerers came on a bike at night. The ancient hungers that once tormented me were fulfilled. Who were we to sit beside their favorite god? I have ceased to fear death. In this, we find from chapter 1 to 10, she speaks about her early childhood and background. And here we find about her birth in a prominent Nair family in Malapat, which is in Punierkulam in Kerala, and early years in Calcutta. And she also describes the emotionally distant father absorbed in work and the indifferent mother composing poetry. She gives the details of the racism and the severe treatment she and her brother faced at the European school during British rule. From 11 to 25, she talks about marriage and early domestic struggles, where Details are about her hurried, unwanted marriage at Madras to an older, egoistic executive K. Madhav Das. She portrays a traumatic wedding night and a husband's cold, demanding, and dismissive attitude. She describes the birth of her three sons amidst growing emotional emptiness and domestic entrapments. Chapters 26 and 24 talk about her awakening, extramarital pursuits, and writing, where she details her transition into writing poetry as an emotional outlet and her subsequent search for true love outside a stifling marriage. She candidly addresses her cross gender boundaries, emotional experiments, and brief relationships as coping mechanisms against deep loneliness and societal suffocation. And she also chronicles her growing recognition as a bilingual writer and the pressures of navigating the male dominated literary world. And in the final 10 chapters, that is from 41 to 50, she speaks about illness, reflection, and acceptance, focusing on her severe heart ailments, hospitalizations, and close brushes with mortality that initially prompted her to write her confessions. She brings a stark, uncompromising look back at her life choices, arriving at a quiet, broish reconciliation with her identity, her sexuality, and her spouse. If you have anything more to add on to what I've said, please do write it in the comment box. Like the video, share it with your friends, and if you have not subscribed my channel, please subscribe and support. Thank you.